What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So we're gonna check out disrespectful WWE moments by Tap Out Corner. It happens, you know. Sometimes some disrespectful moments may be seen on WWE television, even if it wasn't planned. You know, these wrestlers are human beings and they deal with emotions, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see. So sometimes that frustration may end up on our WWE television, and even though it's not supposed to happen, sometimes it can turn a situation that people weren't interested in into something a little bit more, knowing that there's some real life issues and real life beef, or not beef, but you know, like real life, you know, I guess you can say disagreements happening and frustration happening live on WWE television. So we're gonna check out some of these disrespectful moments. Appreciate all the love and support you guys showing on the channel. Let's get right into this.
Sure, WWE might not be real, but it's not as scripted as you might think. Wrestlers have done some truly disrespectful stuff, and some of them have even led to real fights. First though,
like I just said, you know, sometimes things get real and we see it on television even though we're not supposed to.
Need to decide who is wrong in this situation. At WrestleMania 27, there was only one women's match, a 6-person mixed tag team match. This meant the majority of female WWE wrestlers weren't gonna get a spot on the biggest show of the year. To make matters worse, two of the competitors in the match were reality TV star Snooki and Trish Stratus, who was not wrestling full-time. This made a lot of female wrestlers who were full-time members of the roster pretty upset.
Of course,
including John
understandable.
Morrison's girlfriend at the time, Melina. Morrison was mad about this too, and vented his frustration by not hugging Trish Stratus after they won the match. Trish was so upset about the snub, she and Morrison actually got into an argument backstage. Stratus accused Morrison of being unprofessional and taking a moment from the fans. Morrison responded by saying Trish was taking a spot from a full-time member of the roster. Stratus talked about the incident years later in an interview, and it doesn't sound like she and Jomo have patched things up. Thankfully, this incident did not lead to a fight, but some have, and will be.
Wow, he said, "No, I ain't trying to hug you. You taking the spot." Even though I guess you can say technically Snooki was taking another wrestler's spot. That's crazy. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Getting to that soon. When your name is Brock Lesnar, there are a lot of things you can get away with that most people can't.
For sure.
One is disrespecting your boss. Towards the end of Brock Lesnar's first run in WWE, the Beast was beaten up, tired, and did not want to be wrestling anymore. Lesnar informed Vince McMahon he was leaving just days before WrestleMania 20. McMahon was not happy about this and changed Brock Lesnar's match. The original plan was for Brock Lesnar to beat Goldberg in 30 seconds. However, once Brock said he was quitting, McMahon had the match changed and Goldberg beat Lesnar. After the match, the Beast looked straight into the camera and gave it 2 middle fingers, which were directed at Vince. Despite telling McMahon to go fudge himself, Brock Lesnar returned to WWE in 2012, where the Beast would dish out more disrespect.
I mean, once again, money talks. That's literally what it is. I didn't know the original plan was for Brock to beat Goldberg in 30 seconds, but once again, money talks. Money will supersede all types of real life beef, especially for Vince McMahon. Just in WWE and business in general, if there's some issue you have with someone, give it some time. And if the money is looking right and money can be made on both sides, a lot of times people can, you know, let bygones be bygones.
The August 11th, 2014 episode of Raw was a big deal since it featured Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration. However, the party was interrupted by Brock Lesnar. This was all part of the script. What wasn't was what Brock said to Hulk Hogan.
"Party's over, Grandpa."
Hogan actually took offense to this line and would get defensive over it.
So Brock Lesnar, you need to bite your tongue when you start throwing my name around.
All right,
I'm getting tired of hearing it. I know this is all entertainment. You know, we're supposed to have fun with it, but when he starts throwing my name around with my wife and my kids, he's crossing the line.
Brock Lesnar can get away with all this, but most WWE wrestlers cannot.
He wasn't about to do a damn thing either. He wasn't. I'm sorry. He hit him with the old man. Hulk Hogan is old. What you gonna do, Hulk? What you gonna do, brother, when Brock Lesnar is coming for you? Like, what are you gonna fucking do? Exactly.
One
Nothing.
wrestler slightly disrespected Vince McMahon and nearly got fired. In 2016, Daniel Bryan officially announced his retirement from wrestling. The February 8th episode of Raw ended with Bryan giving a farewell speech. Afterward,
A
the
very
WWE
emotional
roster came
segment.
out and gave Daniel a standing ovation. Vince and Stephanie McMahon were on stage, but as they were leaving, Titus O'Neal grabbed Vince so Stephanie could go first, causing the chairman of WWE to nearly fall. Vince shoved O'Neal in response, but it got much worse for Titus. McMahon felt that Titus O'Neal was being disrespectful and was ready to fire him. However, McMahon was talked out of it. Instead, Titus O'Neal was given a 60-day suspension. Due to the timing, Titus missed WrestleMania, which is the biggest payday for a WWE.
Bro, Vince was upset, bro. Vince was really ready to fire this motherfucker, bro. Just because he pulled him, he pulled him a little bit too, maybe, a little bit too rough, but Vince didn't like that. Vince is all about, respect and optics and how it looks. And for him, another wrestler pulling him out the way so Stephanie could get by, even if it wasn't for Stephanie to get by. It's just the way it happened. Vince didn't like that at all.
Wrestler. McMahon did get slightly physical with Titus, but other incidents have caused entire fights to break out. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that soon. Using a real-life death in a WWE storyline is risky, but WWE has done it multiple times.
Eddie ain't in heaven. He's down there in hell.
While it can be debated whether this is right or wrong, WWE usually gets the okay from the deceased talent's family members. However, there was one incident where they did not. Flair, Ric Flair's youngest child, passed away in 2013 at the age of 25 due to drug overdose. Over 2 years later, Reed's sister Charlotte was in a feud with Paige. During the contract signing for their match, Paige said this.
Who's your little baby brother? He didn't have much fight in him, did he?
Yeah,
both
that
Ric
was.
Flair and Reed's mother were not told Paige was going to say this and were furious that it happened.
Wow.
WWE, for their part, did apologize. Brock Lesnar isn't the only.
Yeah, I remember that. That was. Ooh. Yeah, stuff like that you got to okay with the fam to actually say on live television. Because if I that's my first time hearing that, you're going to catch real punches, bro. You're going to catch, if this is my first time and you're trying to get a real reaction, I'm going to give you a real one. The real beats.
A person who has mocked and disrespected Hulk Hogan, but you could argue that Hogan was in the right with this next incident. In 2005, Shawn Michaels attacked Roddy Piper and then challenged Hulk Hogan to a match at SummerSlam, which the Hulkster accepted. On TV, it seemed like a simple WWE storyline, but backstage, things were much different. Michaels did not like being a bad guy, and there was no clear plan of how the story would unfold. HBK wanted to have 3 matches with Hulk Hogan, with Hogan winning 2 and Shawn winning 1. The Hulkster didn't want any of that and wanted just one match where he would win. Ultimately, Hogan got his way, but Shawn Michaels wasn't going to let it go that easily. Once Hulk Hogan and Michaels had their SummerSlam match, HBK made a mockery of the Immortal One by overselling the Hulkster's offense. While Shawn Michaels was being disrespectful, this still has to be one of the funniest WWE matches.
No, it's definitely one of the funniest matches. He was. It kind of sucks because I would have loved to see a feud, an actual built-up feud with these guys, but Hulk Hogan's ego is so fucking inflated, and HBK's ego as well. He could have just, kept it professional, but he said, fuck it. I'm about to oversell everything he does, so.
All time. Because he's Mr. WrestleMania, Michaels was not punished after the match, and Hulk Hogan didn't try to get even. However, when this wrestler got disrespected, he made sure to get even in the most painful way possible. In 1997, the NWO mocked one of the most legendary factions in wrestling history, the Four Horsemen. Each NWO member impersonated one of the Horsemen, and Kevin Nash dressed as Arn Anderson.
You know something is pretty ironic? That on Labor Day, WCW would decide to honor me, because anybody that's followed my career knows one thing. Y'all was wondering when I was gonna go into labor.
Nash in the crowd may have thought it was funny, but Arn Anderson did not. He felt the impersonation like drinking habits. Anderson was retired at this point, so Double A had to bide his time, but eventually an opportunity for payback presented itself. Over 2 years after Kevin Nash's disrespectful impersonation, Big Sexy was wrestling a match against Bret Hart. Arn Anderson had to perform a run-in, and he told Kevin Nash exactly what he thought of Big Sexy's impression without saying a single. It's not just the male wrestlers that are disrespectful. Female wrestlers.
He probably had to cut it for WWE reasons or, copyright reasons. But basically, that nigga Arn Anderson clocked the hell out of him with some pipe. He hit the shit out of fucking Kevin Nash with a pipe, bro. He hit the shit out of him, bro. Like legit hit him. I'm like, damn. Don't talk about Arn Anderson like that, I guess.
Do it too. In 2021, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, was drafted to Raw, while the Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, was drafted to SmackDown. Behind the scenes, Lynch and Flair had a strange relationship, but they had been able to keep it private. That was until the two met face-to-face to exchange titles. Flair went off the script and dropped the Raw Championship in an attempt to devalue the title Becky Lynch was about to receive. Lynch was furious and went off script too. Becky threw the SmackDown belt at Charlotte, which Flair let fall to the mat as well. Everyone looked bad, and Michael Cole even gave a facepalm as
bro, that did not look good because you made the championships look like absolute fucking jokes. I was like, and I remember watching this, I was like, whoa, what? Whoa, wait, that wouldn't, I don't think that was scripted, bro. There's some tension here going on.
That unfolded. Not only did both women disrespect each other, but they also disrespected the championships by treating them like toys. Once Becky and Charlotte got backstage, they got into a heated argument. Charlotte was then asked to leave the arena early to avoid having the situation get even worse. While Lynch and Flair didn't get physical, some wrestlers have, and we'll be sharing that very soon. Considering he's the world's strongest man,
shout out to Mark Henry, man.
It's surprising that anyone would disrespect Mark Henry. In 1998, Mark Henry was walking towards the ring for a match when Triple H taunted Henry by dancing like a monkey. It's a good thing Triple H wasn't in the match. Otherwise, he would have likely earned himself a receipt. Years later, Triple H's father-in-law would pull a prank on Henry that the world's strongest man did not find funny in the slightest. In 2011, after WWE had finished filming an episode of SmackDown, Mark Henry was told to go out to the ring for a match against Sin Cara. However, Sin Cara never came out. Henry was out there for so long that fans started to leave. The world's strongest man eventually realized he wasn't going to have a match and went backstage, where he erupted. Mark Henry was furious that he had been pranked and felt that Vince McMahon had disrespected him. Henry was so upset, in fact, he was ready to quit. McMahon later apologized, but said the anger Mark Henry displayed would make for a great character. This evolved into the Hall of Pain storyline that led to Henry becoming a world champion. Thankfully, Vince McMahon was not backstage because Henry may have gotten into a fight. Unfortunately,
all to potentially motivate Mark Henry. He was fucking pissed, as one should, especially in a situation like that. You think you got a match and then nobody's back there when you get back there. It was just a joke. Like, no one takes you seriously. Like, that's,
Unfortunately, that's what happened during this next incident. An unwritten rule amongst WWE wrestlers is not to use someone else's moves unless you have permission. The great Khali either didn't know this or chose to ignore it, and it got him in trouble. Not long after Khali debuted in WWE, he started butting heads with another giant, The Big Show. The two did not get along backstage, and this reached a breaking point during a show in Puerto Rico. During the event, Khali shushed the crowd and gave his opponent a chop across the chest. Big Show was irate because that was his signature move. Show confronted the great Khali backstage, and what started as an argument turned into a fight. Big Show threw the first punch, but Khali got him right back. The Giants kept fighting as a crowd of wrestlers swarmed around them. In the chaos, Big Show tripped over a chair and fell to the floor, which brought an end to the brawl. Not only did Big Show lose the fight, but he had to apologize to Khali, which the Indian Giant accepted. Despite losing to the great
Definitely did not know about that. Definitely did not know about that, man.
Big Show is legitimately strong. To see him destroy a WWE arena, watch this video.
I did not know. My boy Big Show said, you got me messed up if you think you're gonna use that chop without my permission, even though other wrestlers have used it. But you know, I knew that was his thing, and you know, Big Khali, the Big Show, you know, I get it. But damn, I didn't know them boys had a brawl backstage. But yeah, man, hey, it happens. It happens. It's part of the business. Frustration, emotions do come to the forefront, and you know, a lot of times it makes for some quite interesting television. So comment down below, let me know some other disrespectful rogue WWE moments you guys have heard about or actually have seen live on WWE television. But I appreciate all love and support. Road to 150K, and I'm still the undisputed YouTube wrestling champ of the world. Appreciate y'all getting with me. See y'all next one. Peace.